Greetings from Panama. It's Janine here at Crece Fuerte con Biénestár. That means grow strong with wellness. And these are our first vegetable seedlings grown in Panama. And I am so excited because this morning I came to check the seedlings. And what did I see? A purple bean which has true leaves and roots for me. And what that means, because the roots are coming out the bottom and it has true leaves, but in particular the roots, very important. There's quite a few down there. That means it's able to get its nutrition from the tower. So we've chosen a bottom port for beans because even though this is a bush variety of bean, it will spread out a fair amount. But those roots on there will enable it to get nutrition from the tower garden watering system. And that's the key to when they're ready to come out of this little tray. I had a question yesterday saying they thought it was harmful to keep the plants just in water, that would defeat the aeroponic qualities. But I explained that the water on and off in the tower doesn't really provide the amount of moisture that seedlings need to germinate, and that these are still getting a combination of water and oxygen because they're only in a 1/4 inch of water. The other part of it is, if these were started in the tower, they would all be very long and leggy seedlings. Instead, they are started in the dark under this box. So over here you can see we're still waiting for parsley, cilantro, which has just started coming up. Oh, chives are in there, yeah. Scotch bonnet peppers, barely seeing a start on that, barely. Pansies. The spinach is in the fridge, stratifying, and I believe I might see some action on those, so maybe later today or tomorrow they'll go in a growing pod. Poblanos, also believe I'm seeing something. And for the first time ever, I'm growing bay leaf, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm starting to see, like, the seed swells, and on the edge, it's just the way beans are on the edge, you can sort of see something that looks like the beginning of a root is going to come out. So those are the ones I'm still waiting for. They're in here. And here's what we've got. Our first plant in the tower, a purple bean. And then the others that we have, I'm just matching them up with my identification. Notice I don't keep the lid on. It's just for identification. So I've got kale. I will not thin that much. Kale we like to let produce pretty wild. We eat a lot of it. Waiting on parsley. That has just barely started to sprout. Arugula. That's another one that we let grow pretty thick because we eat a lot of it. It's loose leaf. Up here are chives. I consider them one of the wonders of the world. Chives grow like somebody's arm, where the elbow comes out of the soil first. And then eventually they get strong enough to bend that arm upwards. And you can see a bunch of plants that look like they're folded in half coming out. And then a couple plants that are just starting to raise their hands. Their arms are opening up. It's amazing how stuff grows. This is regular green basil, Italian basil. These are 2 purple basil plants. They are in honor of a late student who was a student of mine for many years, and she was in Paul's and My Tower Garden internship program for, I think, at least 2 or 3 years. Her name was Selena, and she adored purple basil. So these are planted in honor of Selena. Here we've got romaine lettuce. That will be thinned down to probably 2 or 3 strongest seedlings. This is the beginnings of sage that we love growing indoors. It's really fresh when you grow it indoors. It's amazing, the flavor. We've actually learned we like sage in salads. I've got cilantro coming. It's in the germination set still. That's butterhead lettuce back there. This is Mizuna, which looks like it's far behind, but it was started later because it actually grows much faster than the others. But because it has a strong flavor, it's a mustard green, we like to mix it with the others. Quite soon, it will be just as big, if not more prolific than the ones there. So that's the reason why that was started late. Here we've got Roma tomatoes. These are still seed leaves. As you can see, they don't have the jagged edges like a tomato leaf has. So they're not quite ready yet. No roots coming out the bottom. So Roma tomatoes, I will identify the strongest seedling for in here, and maybe two, we'll see. And then this back here is radicchio, and that grows in a beautiful, adorable little red head of radicchio, so that will be narrowed down to the strongest seedling. So that's what's going on. In terms of the ones we're waiting for, they are all showing hints of growth, but I want to see definite growth, like for sure a sprout that's out and able to access light before I put it out. I've got parsley coming, I've got cilantro coming, pansy, which is a really pretty edible flower. The spinach in the fridge has just started to sprout. By tonight or tomorrow I will have that out in a Rockwool cube here in the tray. Poblano peppers, one of our favorites on earth. Hot peppers are almost impossible to find here in Panama. They are not fond of hot peppers. They like dulces, pimientos dulces, sweet peppers. So we're growing poblanos, Scotch bonnets, and habaneros. Sometime in the future we will grow jalapenos again. I did not have those seeds on hand and couldn't find them here. So we can order seeds by mail order, but this time we had over 2 years worth of leftover seeds, and all of these were seeds that were at least 1 to 2 years old, and they all started. This is only 6 days in, and we've already got our first plant in the tower, and that was a 2-year-old packet of bean seeds. So if you care for your seeds really well, we seal the packet of seeds up with tape, then we keep all the seed packets in Ziploc bags in the refrigerator religiously, and then we brought them in a coolie bag with a coolie pack on the plane from Panama. I had them as carry-on. I literally just told the customs agents they are seeds for cooking. I had stuff like sesame seeds and peppercorns in there too, and then just all the bags of seeds. And I just said these are seeds that are seasonings for, these are seed seasonings for cooking. And they said, okay, and they let me go. I don't think they'd have let me bring plants in. They would not have let me bring plants in, but they did let me bring seeds in. So I am excited to say I think I have successfully got, there's actually 2 of them. One should be here. I think I've got 2 bay leaf seeds. Yes, I've got 2. And I can start to see the beginning of a hint that a root is going to pop out. They grow a lot like beans, which is on the side of the seed, you can start to see a swell. And it looks like something is going to emerge from it. Eventually that swell is the 2 halves of the bean opening up, and out pops a stem, and from the end a root. I suspect that the bay leaf is going to be much like the beans, because it seems to be growing in the same way. I think we're going to be successful. I think I'm going to get a bay leaf plant. So I'm really excited. My parents grew basil. They had bay leaf. My parents had a property that was in Virginia, the whole waterfront at the Rappahannock River, and their property was covered in it, and they called it Laurel Landing. Paul and I joke that since we're in the Puerto Armuelles Bay, we're going to call it Bay Leaf Bay. So anyhow, I think we're going to be successful at that, and there's a lot of people who are going to be happy, because bay leaf, very hard to come by here. When you find it in the store, it's very old, very dried out, and very lacking in flavor. There you go, little bean. You get some nutrition there from the tower. So we're doing, I believe we've got it set for 15 on, 15 off. And that's the standard timing. Over time, sometimes we customize our water depending on our conditions. But for now, I'm starting with the standardized timing. In Colorado, we used to do 30 on, sometimes even 30 on, 15 off, 30 on, 15 off. At one time, we even did 45 on. I think that was for an outdoor tower. But here in Panama, in a humid climate, and these are indoors, we're going with the standard 15 on, 15 off. So you can see that the water runs down inside the ports. I should really cover all these ports so that no photosynthesis starts to cause algae to grow. But honestly, I expect these seedlings to be in there really fast. So about the time I would cover the ports with green frog tape to protect them is about the time these will be ready to go in. So we are super excited. That's what's going on here at Grow Strong, Crece Fuerte con Biénestár, in honor of our beloved Kaya, our first purple bean, and in honor of our beloved late little Selena bee. There's your first purple basil, Selena. There's a story that right after she passed away last year, we had moved to Panama. Her mother actually called us from the hospital. That's how special this little girl was to us. The family called from the hospital before they ended life support. And we told the mother we felt Selena's spirit had led me. I ended up crossing a street without any explanation in the city. I was on an errand and something led me to cross the street. And when I crossed the street, lo and behold, there were some kind of mangy looking plants for sale, but one very healthy purple basil plant. And these are seeds that I started as heirloom seeds from the purple basil plant that I sort of really believe that Selena's spirit guided me to find. She did pass away that day that her mom called, and I let Mom know for certain we would be growing purple basil in her honor. So, Bernadette, these are for Selena and your family. We love you all. SB, all of the kids, please. And Bernadette, Kenyon, we know how much you love the kids. We know how much you love and miss Selena. And she lives on with us here in our tower gardening program in Panama. And we are just delighted to have our first tower garden here. And if you don't believe we live in the jungle, just take a look. We live in a jungle. It's very, very jungle-like out there. We've got palms and bananas and plantains and oh God knows what else. So, and we got a little mini jungle in here of vegetables. So that's it for now. Ciao for now from Crece Fuerte con Biénestár in Puerto Armuelles, Panama.